test. Well, that's a delay. Testing. Delay check. Test. Okay, so let's see here. So this seems to be working okay. I could probably use a little bit more gain in the mics. Of course, since I'm talking to myself, it's a little bit hard to tell. Although, let's see here. I'm only using the right mic for right now. So the Rock Band mic. How's my volume? Man, it's already pretty high. So then, yeah, I need a little bit more of a gain. It's a bit quieter than I expected. That's actually got to be kind of trippy, though, with this delay. Because I'm hearing the output because I'm monitoring the stream itself. Holy shit, I got two people in here? Oh, wait. Forgot. That's the actual stream elements. Man. I actually panicked for a moment. Although the bot isn't really responding. Like if I try to do commands or anything. But for right now, let's just go ahead and conduct the mic test. So, and again, I'm sitting over here. Definitely the pop filter. But let's see here. I've already got the mic set up. This is my usual sitting position. Let's see here. It doesn't help that my voice is actually kind of hoarse at the moment. Cough. So let me see here. This is just me talking into the mic. And let's see. Okay. I'm definitely going to be deleting this VOD because there'd be no point in keeping this up. So, Super Scuff audio test. It's a little bit too soft. I need to up the gain. So let's do this. Switch this. And I'm going to jack the gain up a little bit more. How about now? Nope. A little bit farther. So I can only do a maximum 30 decibel gain. And that is already sounding pretty damn harsh. But then again, what do you expect with these mics? So does that mean I have to... Ooh. Okay. I'm a little bit closer. Well, I'm a lot closer now. Unfortunately, my makeshift boom isn't going to really... Unless I... Unless I actually speak a lot louder. Okay, if I don't really speak a lot louder, then it's not going to really sound... At 21 decibel gain, it's not going to sound too loud. At least from this distance, which... I'm actually back about 13 inches from the mics. So, and again, these mics, I got a dual mic setup. But now, what if I were directly in front of? So now this is me facing the actual mic. So let's see. From this angle, I'm at about a 45-degree angle to the mic. And kicked back. I guess I could make the boom. Well, no, I can't really make the boom longer. That's just how it is. So now this is me moving closer to the mic. And I'm still not quite getting into the yellow. I'm definitely with the view meters not getting into the yellow at all. God damn, it's so annoying to listen to myself. Alright, so even if I were at this distance away from the mic, well, I have to lean in pretty closely. And this would be pretty uncomfortable to be sitting at. So let's see here. So I'm back here at the audio. Well, I'm back here at the other scene with starting soon. Wow, I've actually been on for 14 minutes already. And... okay. I won't deny that I kind of dig the whole Japanese brush. So this does look actually pretty damn wicked. Oops. I think I'm definitely have to customize this so I can get to get something like this that looks at. I like the brush strokes. The brush strokes, it kind of gives me a slight Okami feel because Okami was actually, it uses a little bit of like, you know, the Japanese traditional ink brush. I keep losing my place because I'm actually talking on the scene and I can hear myself through the monitor. Not through the monitor, but because I'm actually monitoring the scene. Because, you know, I'm actually trying to listen to my voice to see what this actually sounds like. I feel a little self-conscious kind of looking down and seeing the latest tip was actually by me when I tested the thing. It's like, you know how when you put when you go into a store and then you always see like the tip jars, and there's always like a hold on. I'm gonna mute this for a second because I can't keep talking and then keep hearing my own feedback coming back, because then it throws me off and I keep pausing and stop speaking. But yeah, looking down at that latest tip little section at the bottom here, you know, latest subscriber, none. Latest follower, you know, Bez, which I've been on his stream a couple of times already, like, you know, the past couple of nights while he was troubleshooting and, like, you know, working with his chat bot. Actually, he's using a stream bot, but I'm on a Mac, and I must be one of the very few streamers who actually use a Mac. Actually, I'm really curious how many people actually really do use Macs. Obviously, that limits the games I can play, most definitely. But, huh. So anyway, yeah, with the latest tip, you know how like you go into like a place like a Starbucks or like any kind of store, they got the jar with the tips in there, and there's always like, you know, $1 in there. Well, a lot of times, so people like, you know, at the end of the day, the staff usually comes in and clears out the tip jar. So whoever comes in the morning or whatever, like, you know, they'll seed the tip jar by putting $1 in first, so that people come in, they actually see, they don't see an empty tip jar, they'll actually see that there's actually already $1 in there. That's kind of what this feels like. Only it's, like I said, it's a little embarrassing because unlike a tip jar where you don't see who it was who stuck that dollar in, you can totally see it was me who stuck that dime, who actually tipped myself, basically. So it kind of feels kind of pitiful and lame looking at that. But anyway. So this is technically my, well, if you don't include the part where I kind of hit record, start and stop the stream for like a, you know, maybe 10 seconds. This is actually my second time going live. It's also the longest. The first one was only like what, a minute and a half. Now I'm already up to like 19 minutes. So go me. Of course, it helps that I know that I'm not actually talking to anybody. So that's not a bad thing. Like all of two people, me and Stream Elements. So, which is good because I basically get to take my time, you know, seeing who it is that I'm talking to. Stuff in latest follow. Okay, I got 2 follow. Oh, that's right. I added that latest followers thing to this, so I get to see who it was. So I have all of 2, but I have no idea who cuffs are for kicks is. I just kind of came on, and this was even before I had my stream even remotely set up, and he had already set me up on a follow. So as far as, for all I know, that's a bot. Who knows? But I was actually kind of happy that Bez, first of all, he threw a couple of shout outs, which was hilarious because, I had nothing on my stream and stuff while we were testing his bots and everything. But now, with Bez, like, yeah, he followed me, like, a little bit after that first day, so it was actually pretty cool of him. Very happy. If you're listening to this later for whatever reason, Bez, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Actually, I should unmute this so I can hear how that sounds with the HVAC kicking in. Oh wait, I should turning on my active cancellation on my headphones to see. Oh, you know what? Is it really that it was actually that soft, or was it just me and the noise coming through on the headphones? Huh. Well, the good thing is, at least, is that I don't actually hear any of the noise coming from the HVAC. Of course, it also means that it would be impossible for me to use this for any kind of ASMR at the moment. Well, let's see. Yeah, you can't really hear that at all. Although, if I turned off the noise suppression, that would definitely help. So, let's see what happens if I actually do that. Let's go to filters, noise suppression. Actually, no, I'm going to remove this completely first. And yeah, you definitely hear the HVAC now. But you also hear although it's popping a lot harder. So what if okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the noise suppression again. This time, well, that was pretty immediate. Oops. Sorry about that. I gotta remember to mute before I do that. Or actually, I need a mute button, come to think of it. So the next thing I'm gonna have to do is figure out some kind of a deck. But let me switch the noise to the lower end. So this is the Speaks noise suppression where I actually can choose the noise suppression level by decibel. So this is 0 decibels, so no suppression. And this was back at, this is the default 30. Still getting a little bit of pinging here and there. But let's see here. Okay. It still sounds a little bit awkward. Okay, so if I go ahead and turn this off again, so this is the HVAC off. And it still picks up a decent amount of the background noise from the fans and everything else. Fascinating. Anyway, let me go ahead and turn this back. Let me put the noise suppression back on as normal. Bang. Complete quiet again. So this is what it again sounds like, just with the basic monitor. Not monitor, the basic mic. Again, I'm getting thrown off from hearing my own voice in my ear. So let's see here. Again, single mic. I'm using the Rock Band mic. Yes, yes. So here is my Scuff audio output. Oops. I accidentally paused this. I meant to mute that. So, a little bit of a story here as far as how my setup came to be. When I first did my very first test, when I kind of got on for that minute and a half, just because I was messing around with OBS and VTube Studio or whatever, I was originally just using the built-in microphones that were built in onto the Mac itself, so the internal mic, which isn't bad per se. It doesn't sound bad like if I'm like on a Slack call during like a business meeting or something like that. It's okay, it's decent. However, when I played back in the audio, I mean, since I didn't apply any gain controls or anything else like that, it's, it sounds really far away and just, whole lack of control, and I wasn't really digging it. In fact, if you go back and if you actually played that minute and a half, you can barely hear me, or either that or I'm just really half deaf. Who knows? So, my first major purchase I had intended on doing was to actually get a decent mic. I mean, that's still going to be a priority purchase right now. However, since when I actually was doing teaching, I taught PHP classes and stuff like that, and I was originally going to get on and start recording some lessons. I was actually planning on going on Udemy and making a whole bunch of recorded PHP lessons. PHP, JavaScript, web, I do like web development type stuff, but I was going to go ahead and get on and do that. And so I have a little bit of equipment. So I have some basic lighting sets. It also comes with like a few clips and whatever else. And, I also bought a lavalier mic in order to go ahead and make those recordings. But, the lavalier mic was designed to plug into your phone. So it's got like a 3.5 millimeter jack. And as it turns out, I don't have a microphone jack on this iMac 2015. It has a headphone jack, but it doesn't have an external mic jack anymore, which, motherfucking Apple. Okay. So, alright. So I was dead in the water for a while, but I decided to start kind of rummaging around through my old equipment just to kind of see, all right, what resources do I have? What can I possibly use right now in order to go ahead and get started? And as I was going through, I kind of went through my game console stuff. And so a bunch of controllers, whatever else. It's like, okay, cool. If I ever actually do play a game, any games that, would be interesting on Mac, which there's a handful, but using a controller, okay, well, maybe. But I actually came upon my brother had basically dumped his old Xbox and stuff on me, and looking through, the Xbox stuff, lo and behold, I actually found two microphones. One is from Rock Band and one is from Guitar Hero. And these were a couple of mics that he bought used from GameStop. So, pre-owned, GameStop mics for like $9 a piece. So what you're listening to right now is you're listening to me on a Rock Band $9 used mic from GameStop. So people who say that, oh, you have to drop a whole lot of money into this to get started or whatever else, hey, I'm here to tell you that's not exactly true. Now, I won't deny this is scuff as fuck. But hey, it's working. I also scrounged up a little bit more, and with the help of a little bit of, a couple of clamps and a leftover post from my wire shelving and stuff, I was able to kind of put together a makeshift boom. And so I've got these two mics mounted because, yeah, one thing I'd like to kind of do is, I mean, I'm only using the one mic right now as part of the test, but what I'd really like to go ahead and do is I want to actually do a few ASMR streams. I am clearly a very long way from getting in, from like, the 3D IO mic, So it'll be, oh man, I may not ever get one of those. I'll probably just get a couple of dual mics, but better dual mics instead of like, instead of a specific mic just for the ASMR stuff. But all told, you know what? The setup is actually working a bit better than I expected, given, like I said, how kind of thrown together it is. A couple of clamps, and had to tweak to try to get the clamps to actually fit on the post because the post is a little bit too thin for the actual clamps themselves. So I had to use a couple of spacers to separate this in order to get it thick enough to clamp properly. And there's still a few little issues with that, So I've actually got the mic set up, which another interesting thing about the mics, because when I actually tried, I wasn't sure when I tried that they would actually work, but like I said, these are a couple of mics for Rock Band and Guitar Hero, and they're like I said, for the Xbox, so they're USB mics. So just for kicks, I tried plugging them into the Mac, and lo and behold, they actually got registered and they were recognized as Logitech USB microphones. So hey, cool. I have two mics, and they both work. So, of course, I wanted to, again, do like an ASMR setup. So I wanted like a stereo setup. So this single mic that I'm doing right now is okay, but it's not going to really work for ASMR, because you want to get that side to side, that stereo kind of effect going. That's not going to work with a single mic, right? So I have these two set up, and I kind of played around a bit, and I was able to go ahead and get them both working. I have them set up as in a couple of different configurations. I can use them singularly like I am now. I can also use them as a dual mic setup by creating an aggregate device inside of the Mac MIDI setup, which I'll wind up testing that a little bit later in this stream, to just kind of see how that goes. So let's see here. So anyway, it's enough of me kind of rambling on. Again, I've been using the Rock Band mic because of the two, I do notice that the Rock Band mic has a naturally clearer sound, and has a slightly higher gain naturally than the Guitar Hero mic. But let's actually go ahead and take a listen to this. So let me go ahead and unmute the stream itself so I can kind of hear myself and get this feedback. Do people usually have this on when they're actually streaming? Because this is completely throwing me off. But anyway, this is the Rock Band mic, which ultimately I'm going to have on the right ear. Let's see if I switch over to the Guitar Hero mic and hear that sounds. So let's see here. Let's switch the audio source. Let's see, what do I have this? The filter, the gain is set at 21.2. Okay. All right, so let's switch over. So now, this is me on the Guitar Hero mic. And there is a total difference in how this sounds. It's a lot tinier than the actual Rock Band mic. So again, this is the Guitar Hero mic. And this is the Rock Band mic. The Rock Band mic is a lot warmer, it's a lot mellower. Meanwhile, the Guitar Hero sounds a little bit tinier. There's kind of like a little bit of a, how do you say? I guess it sounds like I'm kind of talking into a can. A little bit of an echo going. So, and the Guitar Hero mic, not quite as fond of it. I can possibly do some filtering or whatever else to get them to sound the same. But that'd probably be way more trouble than it's actually worth. If I had a little bit of an equalizer, well, again, these are a couple of mics plugged directly into the USB on my Mac. Well, I guess if I want to get technical about it, if they're not actually directly connected, I've got obviously a USB hub, and I've got them plugged into the hub, which then goes into the Mac. But considering that I'm not using a mixing board or any kind of a mixer at all, and these are just a couple of USB mics, then I guess I can't really complain about the performance so far. I mean, again, it's scuff as fuck, but that's okay. It's at least something. It doesn't sound horrible. Well, okay, this mic is slightly more horrible than the other mic, but still, all told, it could be a lot worse. So this is me sitting back in my normal position with the Rock Band mic. I'm not the Rock Band, the Guitar Hero. And even though it's a little bit tinny, it does seem to actually handle the distance a little bit better than the other mic. So that's an interesting trade-off right there. So then, let's see here. So this is what it sounds like when I'm up close. And why is my voice skipping out? Pardon me while I hydrate. So like I was saying, this is me up close with the Guitar Hero mic. I guess the thing is I don't have to be that close to it in order for it to really work well. But again, this is proof they both work. So I would actually put a picture up of this scuff ass setup, but my desk is a wreck right now. I haven't cleaned anything off. I'll take a picture and stuff after I've cleaned my desk, and so it doesn't look like, um, so at least I can, visibly not look like a class 3 hoarder, which, you know, it's pretty cluttered. It's pretty cluttered. I really ought to delete this VOD so that nobody hears this shit later. But anyway, so that's the two different mics individually. So I've tested both the Rock Band mic as well as the Guitar Hero mic, and individually how they sound. If I were going to go ahead and use them in mono mode, I would definitely be using the Rock Band mic because it just sounds better. So, but the interesting thing that I want to test is I want to see how this sounds when I'm using them in stereo. So let's go ahead and give that a check, shall we? All right, so let's go ahead and switch over my audio source. So again, this is the Guitar Hero mic all on its own. This is the Rock Band mic all on its own. And now, this is my twin USB mic setup. So what this is I've got both mics active. And the Rock Band mic, like I said earlier, is the right channel. And the Guitar Hero is the actual left channel. Now, again, this is me sitting back in my normal sitting position. If I were actually working and, sitting at the keyboard normally, typing and using the mouse and doing all that other shit. So I'm back to that, like, about 13-inch distance from both mics. So I've actually got the mics kind of set at about a 30-degree off center, so they're not really pointing directly at me, so to speak. They're kind of like, they're kind of like tipped away from each other at about like a 30-degree angle off of the center line. So they're like 60 degrees apart. So I figure kind of at that point, you should be hearing them pretty evenly between, like, both ears. It's kind of hard to tell because to me it sounds like I'm still hearing things more on the left side than the right, but it's I mean, if I'm looking at the meter, it's a little hard to tell. It still looks like I'm getting a little bit more gain on the Rock Band than on the guitar. But now that I actually have these on a boom where I'm not holding them, I can actually go ahead and test this. Like now I'm facing the mics and I'm basically speaking. I'm basically looking directly on, kind of like on the center line, and I'm talking more or less between the two mics. So if I'm talking normally, you should pretty much hear this more or less evenly, you know. So it'd be kind of like a stereo thing where you'd hear, like, again, in both ears, so you can kind of tell, more or less in front of you. You know, and now, oh, or kind of behindish, but it's reversed. It's hard to describe. So anyway, but now this means that I can actually go ahead and move over to the left side, and you should hear me more over on the left at this point, because I'm now to the left of the mic boom itself. So I'm obviously more in front of the left mic than I am in front of the right mic. And if I talk a little bit further, and you can hear me moving across, and I'm kind of panning back from the left side, moving on over to the right side. So now I'm over here, I'm on the right side of the boom, and so now you should hear me more on the right. Which it's a little bit hard to tell because I'm kind of leaning forward because of the way the boom is actually set up. Fortunately, I'm going to be a VTuber, so there will be no video of me actually, in weird leaning positions or shit like that. But you can hear me kind of panning back and forth from side to side. So, again, starting from the center. Whatever. Yeah, well, this is only a mic test, so you will not be hearing me yodel like ever. Thank God there's only 2 people still on here, so just me. Okay, but let's see here. Actually, so this actually sounds pretty decent so far. I'm not really planning on doing a whole lot of traditional ASMR to begin with. So, like, the testing I did with, like, that microfiber cloth, like, running it along the mics, that was just to kind of see if it actually would work at all. I'm really actually just kind of planning on doing things like, voice exercises and relaxations and breathing exercises, that kind of stuff. Just, a nice cozy. So auditory ASMR just from like a chill, cozy talking point of view. Not really so much me, like, playing with different effects and, like, all the different, like, noise triggers and, the things that, things do for people do for ASMR nowadays. I'm kind of going old school with it. But if I lean in a little bit closer now, the nice thing is, while I can still go ahead and talk and you can hear me pretty evenly, I can actually still move closer to one mic than the other. And then it's a lot like I'm sitting here and talking into your ear, specifically your left ear right now. And whatever kind of sounds or words in that one ear, I can actually go ahead and just simply say whatever I want. But then again, if I switch over to the other side, I can still pan over here. So I'm still getting that stereo effect, kind of like how people do with the 3DIO on a couple of cheap GameStop $9 mics. Now, is it perfect? No. But again, the whole point is, actually, let me turn off that monitor again. Now that I know what it sounds like, I don't exactly have to go ahead and keep talking and keep, like, kind of listening to me speak and stuff at the same time, because it's really distracting. Like I said, I don't know how people do that, or maybe they don't do it, and maybe I'm just like, kind of like making things hard on myself by doing that. But so the whole thing is, what I want to do is basically using just stuff that I have lying around. I am trying to get a stream started. Now, it doesn't hurt that I'm okay at art. I can be back and definitely do a lot better. But so my whole journey to VTubing starts now. Actually, I started off. I went through the Stream Elements tutorial. Actually, it was a little bit backwards, because what I first wound up doing is I wound up grabbing on Steam. I grabbed OBS, and then I grabbed VTube Studio, because I knew that that's what I wanted to mess with. So playing with both of those was kind of cool. And just in messing around with those, oh, there goes the HVAC again. So this will be another good test to see if I'm going to have to turn that completely off while I'm streaming. And with it turning into winter, at least it'll be better with it being cooler than it being like hot as crap, But having to turn off the HVAC, while I'm streaming or whatever else, that does still kind of sound inconvenient. But yeah, so anyway, like I was saying, so I want to start with just like, whatever I have, leveraging what I can use, and as I get more money in, I'll start, upgrading the scuff. I'll wind up upgrading from, like, the mics to, a much better mic, and actually get an actual boom, which, would be a whole hell of a lot better than this, because it'd be a lot more adjustable. This is pretty much fixed in place. I can't really do anything about it. Which, like I said, I'll post a picture after I clean off my desk and probably post it onto Twitter or something, just so people get a kick out of this. So anybody who actually thinks that they had to spend a lot of money to get like a really expensive setup from the get-go, yeah, no, you don't have to do that. I'm not going to deny that it would sound a whole hell of a lot better if I had, like, at least one XLR mic and a mixing board. That would be fantastic. But again, I was able to start this and have decent sounding audio. Not perfect, decent sounding audio, with a couple of cheap ass microphones that I dug out of, like, my old game consoles from my nephews playing like Rock Band and Guitar Hero and stuff. So hey. So I guess the real question is, if you were actually thinking about getting started in streaming and you wanted to go ahead and become a VTuber, frankly, what's stopping you? The whole belief that you actually have to have expensive equipment to go ahead and get things started? That's not true. A lot of people have said it. Heck, the famous stream, a lot of famous streamers have said it. You know, Iron Mouse talked about how she, started off using Vroid and free models and everything else. So, hey, the whole preconceived notion that you actually have to have some expensive setup, people keep debunking it on the regular. And I'm kind of making a point of debunking that with this with this audio and setup that I'm doing now. I actually plan on creating, well, I'm going to wind up using, I'm going to do pre-made assets and stuff like that, but I actually want to go ahead and stream and kind of document my whole journey into VTubing by showing the scuff equipment, the scuff setup, and learning the things. Like I'm gonna start off like right now. I know I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. But, I use like the default VTuber setup. So I was a dog in a bowl on a apparently in front of a school or a park. Whatever that outdoor setting is for that minute and a half test. I'm going to go through the process of creating the characters, looking at the different options, seeing how they all work, and building them, getting them set up, and, streaming and making videos of the process. I'm not going to go ahead and show the whole thing, everything, because, quite frankly, like getting this far with the starting soon thing and whatever else, I literally followed the stream elements, getting, quick starting, quick start guide. I don't think you have to kind of like, watch me go through that or watch anybody go through that necessarily. Just simply read the directions, follow directions. It's actually fairly straightforward, you know. So, but I'll show some of the behind the scenes and stuff like that as I go on. And in fact, probably a lot of my early stuff is going to be me. Like, I guess it's kind of like a little bit of an inception, VTuberception. Becoming, kind of coming into this and becoming a VTuber. That's my goal, at least right now. You know. And yes, I do want to have chill streams. I want to kick back and and just have fun, enjoy, and just have a good time with stuff. Um, Content wise, what do I really want to do? Well, like I said, in a past life, I guess. Yeah. If I think about this as me being isekai'd into being a VTuber, yeah. Um, in a past life, I was a developer. In another past life, I was actually in personal development. I actually did a whole bunch of like, you know, guided meditations, hypnosis, stuff like that. But doing things like meditation ASMR, meditation streams, relaxation, just a place where you can kind of come, relax, and chill, but not necessarily the same ASMR that everybody has with the 3D IO, with like all like the auditory triggers and sounds and stuff like that. Kind of more traditional, kicking back, listening to a voice, listening to like different like sounds, light sounds, and just relaxing and letting go. I definitely want to be go. I want to get back to doing some of those because people have told me that they've kind of missed that from me. So, hey, I was originally gonna just throw some videos. I was gonna make some videos and throw them up onto YouTube, but then I kind of thought, well, you know what? I kind of like VTubers and stuff, and you know, rather than sit here and basically looking at me or not looking at me, I can actually go ahead and incorporate something more interesting to look at. Just to let you know now, that does not mean I'm going to be basically putting on a model with boobs and like I will not become your next anime waifu. So Don't worry about that. But hey, I mean, if that's your thing, that's your thing. It's just not what I'm going to be providing. Maybe a boyfu, or, you know, your uncle's son, your anime G son, whatever. So, some other things that I want to go ahead and do. I I used to love Legos when I was a kid, and kind of looking at people playing with the Bionicles and building the sets. It was kind of odd, because looking at people playing with the sets, I had to wonder. It's like, why is everybody building? I mean, the sets are cool and all, but part of the whole thing about Legos that was at least fun for me was the whole fact that you would do things like, you could build stuff, like come up with stuff and invent things on the fly or just kind of make things up as you go along. I noticed that nobody ever really kind of does that on stream. At least none of the ones that I've seen. Everybody's just, kind of building sets. And, I guess one of the things I want to do is flex my inner kid because when I was a kid, I always wanted to have a huge set of Lego Technique so I could just like build all kinds of neat crap. But I never actually got to have the Lego Techniques and stuff. So what I'd love to do is, again, as I am able to go ahead and get more money kind of coming in and stuff, I'd like to go ahead and buy a bunch of technique stuff and start building stuff. I've got like different ideas for some of the things that I want to build. Like, for one thing, I definitely want to build a clock, an analog clock out of Lego. That would be kind of cool. Some other mechanical type stuff. So different, like, machines, different devices. I actually saw that somebody had built a Lego 3D printer, which I think that would be actually cool as hell. But I can also kind of see that, you know, doing that, I'll end up, using a lot of Lego pieces for that and having to keep rebuilding stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll wind up asking, like, chat for different suggestions and stuff on what to do as far as that goes. You know? Um, so yeah, there's that. Maybe, like, do some other kind of building. Who knows? This is all just experimental and just me messing around, you know? If people like what I do, hey, come along and hang out for the ride. So let's see here. I think this more or less kind of covers it for me messing with the two dual mics, you know? And I think it sounds pretty interesting. But then I don't really see me doing this on a regular basis. Well, I don't know, it kind of depends. I might. It all depends on like what the vibe is at the moment, because that's all I really want to do. I want to kind of get on here and chill and vibe. And if you guys happen to come along and you enjoy the vibe, then come on in. Let's kick back and have a good time. We can relax, have fun, and you know what? Hey, maybe I'll do some late night streams, or definitely I want to do stuff that you can always come back to the VOD and just listen. Even if it's not live, you can always come back, and if it's a relaxation thing, just put it on and go to sleep. Not sure if this is a compliment or not. I've been told, my voice is a good bedroom voice, which I can take that a lot of different ways, but I mean, I guess what that means that on one hand, it's putting people to sleep, so my voice puts people to sleep. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. Bueller. 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 Maybe not, but whatever. Holy shit. It's been an hour already? And over an hour. I can't believe my very first, oh, my second stream is actually an hour long, and all I'm doing is testing mics talking shit about nothing in particular. Huh. So let's see here. Actually, let me go ahead and hydrate again real quick. Again here real quick, which, yes, I don't actually have a scene for this setup. I just simply had text on here just to kind of do a proof of concept test. But let me switch off of the mics and switch back to the Rock Band only. Okay, so now I'm on the Rock Band only mic in mono mode. Let's come back over here. So I actually forgot that I don't have any of the other scenes. I don't have the audio sources set up on the other scenes yet. I was just experimenting and looking around. This was supposed to be just an audio test, so I wasn't really too worried about it. But for those of you if you haven't seen this, this is the Japanese traditional art ink theme in Stream Elements. So going through, I've got the in-game scene. So yeah, so you can see there's the in-game scene, the talk scene, the start scene, the be right back, and then of course the ending scene, which I only created a quick test scene using, like, the start scene and through the audio sources on here. Just again, just a really quick kind of test to see how things work. But I think this has been a pretty successful test. I'm going to kind of go back and, have a listen to the VOD just to kind of double check and confirm how the audio sounds. And wow. My very first stream, unofficially, of course. So, all right. In that case, I guess I'm going to go ahead and call it here. So, anybody who comes onto the VOD to listen to this later, I have no idea why you would do that, for one thing, but okay. That day, thanks for coming and thanks for listening. If you liked it, if you're looking forward to anything I'm going to do later, hey, give me a follow. Okay, great.